Thanks, Gorlane. So one of our symbolic prairie species, the pronghorn, faces all kinds of survival challenges throughout the year, including winter. And as we all know, winter can be quite hard on local wildlife. And in order to survive, pronghorn need to be able to travel extensively around the area in order to find enough food. One of the big obstacles they encounter is dealing with all the highways and roads that cover our area. So I'm really pleased to have Megan Jensen with the Moustakas Institute here with me today to talk about a relatively new program that's going to be monitoring pronghorn in our area. Hi Megan, thanks for joining me today.
Hi Marty, thanks for having me.
All right, so the name of your project is Pronghorn Crossing. And so tell us a little bit more about how the project came about and what its main purpose is.
So Pronghorn Crossing is a citizen science project led by the Moustakas Institute. It's modeled after a project that they have in BC called Roadwatch BC, and they're just looking for animals along the highway and such, like pronghorn crossing. So pronghorn crossing has three main reasons that we wanted to start it. And the first is that this area is really lacking data in where wildlife are using the highways, where wildlife are crossing the highways, and where they're actually dying on the highways due to wildlife vehicle collisions. The other reason is because it's a very unique conservation opportunity for the citizens in this area. We want them to get involved and get passionate about the cause like we are, and just to land up making sure that the citizens can help us figure out where the pronghorn are crossing the highway. The third reason is we know that highways are an impediment to pronghorn migration. We know that it's a problem, so we just want to be able to pinpoint where the worst of those issues are and figure out a way to facilitate a way to do highway crossing.
Oh, okay, so how can the public get involved and help you out?
So there are two ways that the public can get involved. The first is our smartphone application. You just download it at Google Play or iTunes. It's Pronghorn Crossing, Xing. And if you download that, you can use it in your vehicle, preferably not by the driver, please. And you just start using it when you're out traveling in Southeast Alberta or Southwest Saskatchewan. And you can just mark down where you see animals along the highway, where you see them crossing the highway, or where you see them deceased. The second way that you can use the app is if you're a driver, we just want you to take a mental note when you're out and about. Say you see a pronghorn, just when you get home, go to your computer, go to our website, which is pronghorncrossing.org, and you just go and put it on our mapping system and just pinpoint that location so we know where you were.
Okay, and so are there any specific locations of concern that the public should be more aware of?
So pronghorn are at their northernmost range here in Southeast Alberta and Southwest Saskatchewan, and pretty much any of those areas we're going to be looking for pronghorn. As I said, we're not exactly sure where the main problem areas are, so if people just keep their eyes open and use the app, we would really appreciate that.
Okay, so go over again where they can get more information, and can they actually contact you directly?
So if they'd like more information, they can go to our website, which is pronghorncrossing.org. And I would love it if they would contact me directly. Any questions or observations or concerns with the app, it's Megan, M-E-G-A-N, at pronghorncrossing.org.
Okay, and then why is this project important?
So this project is important to both pronghorn, wildlife in the area, and to people. So in 2008, Alberta Transportation did a study and they found that they were spending $240 million. The Alberta citizens were spending $240 million on wildlife vehicle collisions a year. So that's a huge number. If we could make it safer for wildlife to cross the highway, it would be great, and for the safety of people and for the amount that's being spent on these collisions. The other thing is pronghorn are unique species. As I said, they're at their most northern range, and they really struggle getting to their migration areas. So if there's an extreme weather event and they're struggling to cross the highways, that can actually lead them to susceptible to death because of that extreme weather. So it's it's really important for us to make sure that they're getting there easily.
Okay, so just to add a little bit more detail, tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got involved with this project.
So after school, I started out with Alberta Conservation Association on the Pronghorn project, and that's a project that really focuses in on how pronghorn are using fences to go through to their migration route. Because they can't go over the fences, they have to go under them. So if fences are too low, it can change their migration routes. So they're just trying to figure out ways to get that information. The other thing is I started with Multistar, which is a program that is through Alberta Conservation Association, and they just work with species at risk in the grasslands. So after that, I moved to Medicine Hat, and they gave me a call at Alberta Conservation Association, and they let me know about this Moustakas job, and I was lucky enough to actually get it after applying.
All right, so a lot of our viewers probably aren't too familiar with the Moustakas Institute. Please tell us a little bit more about that organization.
So the Moustakas Institute is a research institution. They gather information about conservation issues, and then they're the ones who are going to compile the information from this project that the volunteers get for us when they're using the app. And after they get that information, they're going to create a report, analyze the data, and send that to the Alberta government and to the Saskatchewan government in hopes to facilitate mitigation strategies such as wildlife-friendly fencing or over highway crossings like you would see near Banff.
Okay, is there any way the public can help or get involved with the Moustakas Institute?
So just by using our apps is one main way that you can get involved. If you are looking for more specific opportunities, you could always go to their website at rockies.ca.
Okay, great. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I just want to talk a little bit about the route function on our app. So when you go into it, there's a route function, and you just start that route. And that helps us to know that maybe we're not seeing pronghorn in a certain area, and that's not because you're not driving it, it's because they're not there, or vice versa. So it really helps us to eliminate any bias and just make sure that we know where the animals are, because no information about an area, like no data is as important as data. So the other thing I would like to talk about is our funders, so Alberta Conservation Association and NFWF, so National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. Those are our funders, and we're so appreciative. The other people are our supporters. So we have Alberta Transportation, Alberta Environment and Parks, Saskatchewan Ministry of Environment, and the Saskatchewan Government Insurance. And they're just great, so we wanted to thank them.
All right, well, great, Megan. Thank you so much for providing that information today. So remember, everyone, citizen science projects like this one don't work very well unless you, the public, get involved. So take a little bit of time, gather some more information, go to the websites, and then do your part to give pronghorn a helping hand.